what's up YouTube? I'm finally back after a while. Sorry about the delay. What happened is, I kind of fell a little bit behind with schoolwork, and then I got grounded because I didn't catch up with schoolwork, and then I got ungrounded. Like, right as I got ungrounded, I got sick. So, yeah, I was screwing around on YouTube the other day, and I'm like, yeah, I should make a YouTube video. Oh wait, that's right, I already do that. I haven't done that in a while. I should do one. So yeah, I finally remembered to make one, and I'm bringing you a team building guide, as you can obviously see from the screen. So yeah, nothing really else is new with me. I have about like 40 teams on Showdown, and I can't even keep track of them all, and all of them I don't even know which ones I want to keep and delete, and I just want to save them for reference, and it's a mess. But they're not even organized. So let's just start. Just gonna start with some links and resources. I'll put these all down below in the description. Nugget Bridge is good for getting spreads. They have the speed tiers list. Forums are good for just like competitive everything really. Egg Emporium, the efficient base stat total list, and the team building, not the team builder. The efficient base stat total list is like, let's say, I don't know, we're gonna use Garchomp. It takes the special attack stat out of its base stat total, so it's just the efficient base stat total, so you can see like everything. Mega Tyranitar is at the top because his stats are ridiculous. And then the team building guide, why do I keep saying team building guide? The team builder is something. It shows like how balanced the types are with your team. Um, Pokemon Showdown, I mean, it's Battle Simulator. You just put your team on there, and then they have a damage calculator too, which is good for using. The Vicon Kalos Pokedex is good if you have no idea what you're doing and you don't have your Kalos Pokedex complete yet. And like, just so you know what Pokemon are in the Kalos Dex, you can see their what's it called, their types and their abilities, except for the hidden abilities on the overview. But once you click on them, you can see all that. The If you really have no idea what you're doing, you could always look up the Gen 6 type chart. Just type in type chart and then pull it up on Bulbapedia. Usage statistics. I know they have those on Pokemon.com. I know they have them on Nugget Bridge. I know they have them on Egg Emporium. Those are just good so you can get a basic idea of what's being used in the metagame. And then you can use Cerebi too for stuff like, I mean, sometimes I just like the layout of Cerebi's Pokedex better than um Vicons, but Vicons shows all the Kalos Pokemon together from all three Pokedexes. Cerebi doesn't do that. So before you start building your team, you need to think about everything in the metagame and what you're going to want to do. Some common, like, you gotta really think about the commonly used Pokemon, right? Like, right now, it's Mega Mawile, Mega Charizard, Mega Kangaskhan, uh, Ferrothorn. I see a lot of Ferrothorn. Garchomp is huge. Um, yeah, offensive threats, that's where Garchomp is. Rotom, like Rotom Heat. Rotom Wash is more bulky usually, but Rotom Heat's a big one. Talonflame and Tyranitar, those are never fun to deal with, except for if you have super fast Rock Slide, you can't be KO'd with Brave Bird, because then Talonflame, you can't even sneeze on it. Support Pokemon like Meowstic and Amoonguss, those are usually bulkier and harder to deal with. Um, just good counters for those are like Quick Guard, Taunt, stuff like that. Speed Control. Speed Control is good just to make sure you always win. Like things like Trick Room, you could have a Trick Room team. You could have Tailwind. I prefer Trick Room because it lasts a bit longer. You could have Paralysis as one. You could have Choice Scarf. There's a bunch of that stuff. If you want to see like where everything's placed, like I know what I don't like about it is that it doesn't just like put the base stats with speed. I mean, sure, I could look that up. I'm just lazy, but it has it with like +1 or +2 on everything, just like to in every case what like the high speed stat would be with like one boost from Choice Scarf or Agility, because who uses Agility in VGC? Everybody, right? It's like the most used move ever. Um, when you start building your team, you're always gonna want to start with a core. Not well, I mean, I don't do that sometimes, but sometimes most of the time you're gonna want to start with the core because those consist of 2 to 3 Pokemon. Sometimes I just start with one, but normally you're gonna want to pick 2 to 3 Pokemon with good type synergy, like fire, water, and grass. Um, those are good. And you got to make sure that when you're building your team, you don't have any huge weaknesses. Like you can't have 4 Pokemon that are weak to fire because that would completely mess you up. I mean, in some cases, like if it's a rain team and you have like Ferrothorn, Amoonguss, and Gorgeist on the same team, I have no idea why you would do that. But let's say you did. If it was a rain team and you had like Politoed and Kingdra, then you would probably be fine. And you can't just watch out for types, but you have to keep watch for things like Trick Room and Weather and Dark Void too, because those are all strategies that are used. I don't know if some people call Dark Void a strategy, but yeah. Another thing you can do, yeah, I know it's not on here. It might be on the next slide. I forget, but another thing you could do is you could go on Nugget Bridge, and what you can do is you can copy a tournament winning team and you can just mess around with it and then change it to how you want it. So next slide, what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to pick your core. You're going to pick Pokemon, pick a Pokemon or two that you like or you want to use. Like, I don't care, just as long as it's not Bidoof or something ridiculous like that. Like make them actually usable Pokemon. You got to remember your type synergy. That's always important. You can't have like 3 grass Pokemon unless you're 100% positive that you can balance that out later. Strategies and always is always a good thing to keep in mind, like tailwind stuff like that. Like I said, probably 45 seconds ago. I don't know. I really don't know how long ago that was. Anyways, I'm getting off topic. You're gonna always want to pick 1 to 3 Pokemon to start. One, like the 2 or 3 is recommended, but one if you really want to base it just around one Pokemon. Um, Mega evolutions are probably the easiest to work with just because of their power and their ability to fit in with like every team. Like Kangaskhan, you could just like slap it in there and call it a day. Because he is normal typing, he hits twice, he hits fast, he hits hard. I mean, it's not really difficult to put Kangaskhan in a team. Um, so I'm going to start my team that I'm using for this video with the popular core in Japan, which is pretty much every Japanese team ever, Gardevoir, Salamence, Aegislash, because they all cover each other's weaknesses well. They both cover. I don't know how to explain it. They cover each other both defensively and offensively. So I mean those three work out perfectly together. So next you're gonna want to build off of your core. You're gonna want to try and cover as many weaknesses as possible with like a Pokemon or two, because like let's say I have three, like you're gonna want to put it up to like 3 or 4 Pokemon and then just round it out from there. Make sure it's not like just a Pokemon that covers weaknesses. It should be usable, not Bidoof, as I said before. I put Scrafty in here because Scrafty, enough said. But he covers the weaknesses, like the weaknesses that stood out to me the most, and he has intimidate, fake out, bulk, offense, and just good type coverage in general. So I'm gonna use him on this team. Um, things here, yeah, like this next Pokemon here, like your core really doesn't matter what you have in it, as long as it has good type synergy or strategy to it, like Rain. But you're gonna probably not always, but usually you're gonna want like a more bulky Pokemon here. Not always. I'm not saying you have to make this bulky. It could be, I don't know, Sharpedo with like 60-20-20 defenses. But I'm just saying you should. It's a good idea to put a bulky Pokemon here just to start rounding out the team, so you're not left with all offensive Pokemon. You're gonna continue building after that. Your last few slots are probably the most crucial slots in your team, besides your core. I mean, because these 2 Pokemon are what's going to round out your entire team. Because normally you're going to have Pokemon that like you're going to have holes in your team. So you're gonna have to watch to make sure you're filling these holes correctly, or it's not really gonna work. You're gonna try to balance your team with 3-3 or 2-4 special physical Pokemon. Well, physical special. Sorry, I flipped those around. Um, because I mean, with all this Intimidate and Will-O-Wisp and everything flying around these days, and Charm on Meowstic, it just gets ridiculous. So I mean, you're probably gonna want more special Pokemon than physical. Physical is always good because nothing really I've seen is extremely physical defensive. Everything normally falls to physical moves. I don't know why people don't EV more in defense, but yeah, you gotta make sure like it can't just be like random things thrown in there. You can't just like I don't know put something bulky like Bieberl on the team because it has good defensive stats and has access to Simple, which doubles stat boost, and you can give it like amnesia and whatever you give it, and it goes up by like I don't know, I don't even know. I used it maybe once for laughs, but that was it. Um, you're gonna try and balance out the team. I couldn't really word it right here. It's better if I talk and say it. You're gonna want to have a balance of physical Pokemon, special Pokemon, support Pokemon, and bulk Pokemon. I mean, support and bulk aren't really seen that much anymore. And you're gonna want to make sure that it's not like you're too bulky so you can't do anything, or you're so physical that you died at like everything. Not physical, so offensive that you died at everything. Um, you can't have a team of like Amoonguss, Gorgeist, Ferrothorn, I don't know, Gardevoir, whatever else. You can't just have like all of those because that probably wouldn't work out for you. You're gonna want to have a balance, like because I have Aegislash who's in the middle of bulk, Gardevoir who's in between two, Salamence who is offensive, and Scrafty who's in the middle too. So I mean that kind of balances out. But don't just think about what your team beats defensively. Offensive should be taken into account too. Um, I kind of touched on this earlier, but you can't just say okay these have good type synergy so I can switch back and forth with these. No, like you can let's say you have a weakness to fire, but three of your Pokemon have water moves on there that aren't Hydro Pump. Like you can have a Hydro Pump. Like I have Salamence. Let's say I have Salamence, Gourgeist, Ferrothorn. Okay, and somehow Ferrothorn got I don't know Surf and I have a water absorb Pokemon like Vaporeon on my team. I don't know. I'm just making stuff up, guys. But you get the point. You got to make sure that it can't you can't have it covered just defensively, offensive. You have to cover everything both defensively and offensively. Even if you don't cover everything, they should at least balance out to the point where it works. So for the last two slots, I choose I choose Mawile and Garchomp. They just seem to round out the team. Mawile is one of those in between bulky physical Pokemon, and Garchomp just wrecks. So now it's testing time. Once you have your team chosen, it's time to build each Pokemon. Usually, it's normally like if you're just starting off, it's pretty much a good idea to start with just like 252 spreads and then adjust accordingly from there because like okay let's say I have Charizard, I have max special attack, max speed, and I hate how I get wrecked by Rock Slide. I'm gonna adjust my EVs so that I can take that Rock Slide while still maintaining my special attack and speed. um what was I gonna say? If there are you can take other people's spreads. I mean, some people frown upon it. I really don't mind it. I usually when I take people spreads, I usually try to change it a little bit to fit with my team because their spreads are meant for their play styles and their teams, so it's not gonna work for everybody. But things like Ray Rizzo's Mawile, that's pretty much like standard bottom line. So I mean it can be changed a little bit for preference, but really it's a pretty solid build for Mawile. Stuff like that you can just take and slap on your team. And like if you know it's a good spread and you know it'll work, you don't have to do the 252. But normally you're going to want to do the 252. Like especially in Garchomp, you're probably just going to want to keep the 252 spread. So Normally, when you're testing, you'll find that you don't use something as much as you want, or it doesn't really work out, or you're losing to something more repeatedly than you would think. You would lose, you find yourself losing over and over again to things, or you're having a hard time with things that are similar. Like, let's say I have a sun team, and I have no rain counters. Like, let's say my rain counter, per se, is Venusaur for some reason. That's not really going to work because, rain teams have like stuff that counters Venusaur. So, um, you're gonna want to make sure that, well, no, you're gonna notice that some things won't work out with your team, and that's okay. Don't flip out. Don't throw the team away. That happened to me once, and I'm like, what am I doing? No, stop it, Scrafty. Okay, but you're gonna wanna, before you do anything, like before you change the spread, you're gonna want to try to change the spreads, the moves on the Pokemon that you already have before completely switching out team members, just so you can make sure that you maintain your synergy and everything with your team. But yeah, I think that's that. That's it for that slide. Good things to use and good things to counter. Spread moves are big, like Earthquake, Rock Slide, Heat Wave. That all of that stuff is huge this gen. So, Wide Guard's a good counter for that. Intimidate is a big deal. So that's, like I said, you're gonna probably want to have more special attackers than physical attackers. Status is big. You don't see paralysis as much anymore, or confusion. Burn and sleep are probably the two main ones, but you mostly see burn. Common Pokemon, like I said, Charizard, Mawile, Kangaskhan, um, Ferrothorn, Gardevoir, Garchomp, stuff like that. You're gonna want to watch out for. Abilities, Sandstream, Prankster, those both give people problems. I see a lot. Like Gale Wings, Brave Bird, Choice Band, Talonflame, Rex, literally everything. So that's gonna be a problem. Speed Control, Priority. I guess Priority could be considered Speed Control. You're gonna want to watch out for Priority. Like Sucker Punch, you're gonna want to make sure you can counter predict that. Ice Shard on Mamoswine when you see it. Brave Bird, Talonflame, Prankster, stuff like that. Yeah. And then hacks is normally a big problem. You can't really do anything about hacks. You just have to sit there and deal with it. I know I probably sound like your mom when you have to go to the doctors and get a shot when you were like 6, okay? Because everybody knows shots sucked back then. But you can't do anything about it. You have to go get the shot. So I mean you're gonna have to deal with hacks. Don't throw your team away because you lost the hacks. Think about what you probably could have done better, and then go from there. Like dissect your loss or even your win. You just be like, okay, I misplayed here. I have to watch out and make sure I fix this next time I play. But you can't necessarily do that with every player because every player is different. Battle spot, it's really just like either like occasionally if you get high up in the rankings, you'll play some better people. Mostly it's just the Japanese people playing, which really isn't good practice considering our metagame is completely different from theirs. Um, but yeah, so hacks, you can't do anything about it. You might want to have something to like make hacks go your way more. Like, don't ever use this. Nobody likes when people do this, but Sand Veil Bright Powder Garchomp, like that's a good way to get hacks on your side more often than not. So that's a wrap for this video. I'm gonna have all the links in the description. In next video, I will be putting the team in action, and then after I do that, probably maybe in the same video, I might just go through the process of changing the team, like making changes to your team to see what you don't do and don't like. Um, yeah, that's really it. So my final team that I decided on that's going to be in next video is Gardevoir, Salamence, Aegislash, Garchomp, Mawile, and Scrafty. So you can just toy around with that if you want and see what works for you if you really want to. I mean, I don't even know how this team works. I have not used it before at all. I just made this up earlier. So, yeah, thank you for watching. Hopefully I'll have a new video up soon, probably like this weekend soon, because just trying to make up for lost weeks. Yeah, so like, comment, subscribe, tell all your Pokemon friends, tell everybody really, because I make cool Pokemon videos when I'm not grounded or sick or caught up with schoolwork. Well, not really caught up, I was actually pretty behind. So, that's it, YouTube. Until next time, see ya.